G'day everyone. We tried using Khorasan flour before, but we used the bread maker and the recipe was nice. I really liked it, but it was more like a cake than a bread. So today we're going to be making sourdough, Khorasan sourdough. So what do we need? We need to get our bowl, zero it, and we add 500, hang on, there you go. 500 grams of the flour. Oh, I'm getting it everywhere. Let's go. 500 grams. Right, a little bit much, but it'll be fine. We need to add some of our resident flour natural bread improver. So we use 10 grams of a bread improver per 500 grams. So we've zeroed the scale. 7. 10. So just a little bit of that. I'll need to get some salt as well. 400 grams of water. Zero our scale again. We need 9 grams of salt. There we go, 9 grams of salt. And 75 grams, I'll probably use closer to 100 of our sourdough starter. Right, we've added 75 grams of our starter. I'm going to mix this through now. All right, let's bring that together. So now we've got our dough together, not too sticky. All together well. Put that in there. Okay, so now we just let it rest for about 40 minutes. And then we'll begin our stretch and fold stage. There we go. I'll wash my hands and we'll get on with the next bit. Back soon. It's been resting for 40 minutes and we're going to do our first stretch and fold. Just whip my hands so that their dough's not going to stick too much. So we just stretch it out, fold it over, stretch it out, fold it over. So we're going to do that every 20 minutes for the next 2 hours or so, and that will help our gluten form. For a few hours yesterday and in the fridge overnight. The reason I did overnight is really because I didn't feel like cooking it, but it's also makes for a tasty bread. So let's get this in the oven at 220, covered for about 15 minutes, and then about 25 minutes uncovered. Again, we'll turn the temperature down to 200 when we get to the uncovered stage. And here it is. So let's just cut a little piece off of this Khorasan bread. Quite soft, doesn't have a crunchy crust. I'm quite pleased with the way it came out. There we go. Been cooling for a little while. It's an interesting yellowy colour. Let's just cut it. And get some butter. You want some, Riff? And now the test. I think I've linked to the video where we did this bread in a bread maker, and it turned out more like a cake. So I'll be interested to see if this is the same. Here we go. Very soft. Much more bread-like. And very sourdough-ish. I'm impressed. That is much better than in the bread maker. Very nice, in fact. Little bit of a crunchy, little bit of a crunchy crust, but I think that's very nice. While I was at it, I made a small rye bread, which seems to have turned out rather well, don't you think? A little burnt on the bottom, but let's just cut a little piece off and try it. a little bit crunchy on the bottom. So there we go. It's a fairly heavy, dense bread, but it looks a little bit better than I've had in the past. So let me just cut off a little bit. Bit of butter. We'll see what this one's like. Very rye. You can definitely taste the rye. Well, it is 100% rye bread. And again, fairly heavy. But I'm pleased with the way this one's turned out. It's actually quite tasty. What do you reckon? You tried this Khorasan bread yourself? Let me know in the comments if you did and how it turned out. Like, subscribe, hit the bell icon, blah, blah, blah. Enjoy life. Not catching the garden.